Cool.
Alright. The barbecue got 20, yeah.
I got the button.
Like, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Sir Retro, what's good with you, man?
What's good with you, Mr. Dougie? How you doing?
I am doing pretty good. Just sitting here chilling, trying to get another one of these episodes knocked out. Just seeing what's happening. Well, what's up with you?
Well, I've been doing well. I've actually been quite busy lately for the past, I'd say at least a month or so.
Doing what?
Actually, been working on doing a lot of promotion for the Georgia Fighting Game Community lately. Lately, I've been reaching out to radio hosts, a few music artists, as well as a local business around town like Piedmont Brewery and Fatty's Pizza. So get some restaurants to potentially sponsor us, either food, prizes, advertisements for our event. So definitely been working, meeting the manager, general managers, whatnot, to talk about potential sponsorships and connections and build a network here and there.
Hey, you said fatties because it ain't gonna be Doughboys because apparently they closed down, right?
Yeah, that's true. They closed down about a couple weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, when I walked by, I think it was Friday. I walked by. I didn't see it going there, but I noticed it on the way back. And I actually sent you a message. You never responded to that, by the way. But I took a picture of the place, and some guy on the street asked me if I was gonna buy it, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "I was just asking somebody what happened," and he's like, "Yo, they closed down." I'm like, "Oh,
Oh no.
oh."
Just the fact that he actually going to buy it, that's hilarious.
I was looking kind of dapper that night, so I can see that.
But yeah, all right. Yeah, but that's it's unfortunate.
But that kind of leads me to the first thing I was going to ask you, because you're talking about all these sponsorships for the Middle Georgia community, for your reboot community. How does it
Correct.
feel being you're effectively the head. You're more of the face, but you're effectively the head of like the main city community in the state. And I mean that in the sense of like there's communities all throughout the state, but they're like the Access Replay community, the 404 community, GB, data, so on and so forth. But you're like the head of the only one that's really based around the city. How does that feel? Have you even thought of that?
Well, to be honest with you, I really did not really expect it because, like, the thing is, like I actually said many times to other interviews or stuff like that, I initially didn't really have the idea of wanting to become like more of a leader role and become part of the leadership. I just basically want to assist and volunteer because, like I said, I started out with speaking of Middle Georgia with Chris T. Rex because he basically does the Smash community, and that's where I started from. And the thing is, at the time when they didn't have many people to run tournaments during the Mercer University events, I kind of stepped in and said, hey, let me try to help you out with the bracket here and there and see how that works. And I kind of got involved with like volunteering a lot more over time. And I just got accustomed to it because, like, of course, like they started picking me to say, hey, well, you always here all the time. Why not help out? And I was like, yeah, that's cool. And it got to a point where eventually I kind of started to enjoy it. But as far as reaching to the point where becoming a head and so forth,
Right.
I think that it really helped me a lot because it was something that I have, me being a fight game enthusiast and liking the scene, I kind of felt part of the crew and part of like a new family for me. So getting involved helped me a lot. And I think over time, I didn't notice how much it built like a leadership skills, communication skills, and so forth. And I noticed that I became more confident and doing a lot more stuff. So over time, when eventually we started at Reboot, and they would decide to try out tournaments for fighting games, and we were like, oh, you know what? We might check it out and help out a little bit. Because they did hire someone to run tournaments and stuff. They had actual staff.
Really?
But they didn't know. Yeah. So, yeah, when they initially started out in 2017, they had the hired staff to run tournaments. They make sense. They get paid for it because that's their venue and whatnot. But the person who was running it didn't understand how to operate the bracket and so forth. But fortunately, at the time when we was there, we were like, well, is this how you do it? We do this and this and this, and so forth. This is how the flow of the tournament, how the matches go. And we started end up teaching that staff how to run it. And got to the point the staff was like, you know what? Y'all guys know what y'all doing. How about you guys just take over? And of course, and so forth. and we actually became more volunteers. So once again, the idea of just helping, I didn't mind it. Then of course it got built to the point where um, over time, when fighting game tournaments became more prominent over at the at Reboot, and me, Ricardo, who I met at the time, 2017, and a friend of mine from Mercer University, we started working together to say, hey, let's start doing tournaments here, and let's see if we can help out run events. And of course, it was all three of us, just the three of us, just running tournaments together. I'll assist with the bracket a little bit, and I'll compete. Ricardo will do the same thing, and then our friend will actually just run the stream or the bracket and whatnot. So over time, when more players started attending, so forth, and people start stepping in, it became harder for us to try to, maintain the scene and running more stuff. And of course, me seeing how excited I was for it to grow, it kind of probably pushed me to like, oh man, let me start doing more of this now. And we like got the ideas of like, let's see if we can start branching out, start reaching out to other scenes. Cause there's like Atlanta, there's Columbus, there's Albany, and so forth. And me, I used to travel to tournaments before I started running brackets.
Really?
So I was like, well, yeah. So actually, as I said, I started competing and started to do running brackets. I mean, before I started running brackets, of course, I was a competitor. And I
Right.
started out in the Smash community in 2000. Actually, I started competing before the fight game community, but I became more involved with the FGC around 2014,
All right.
mainly there and with Smash. So I was a little bit of both, but but I got pushed more to Smash because that was my first game. But as far like with Street Fighter and stuff like that, they came a little bit later. But I was aware about the FCC at the time. So as far as I started traveling to tournaments, like going to the final round was the first major I went to alongside MomoCon in 2015. No, sorry, MomoCon in 2015, then final round in 2016. That was my first time I started traveling more outside of like my area. And of course, I started attending regularly to the conventions and so forth, mainly to compete in Smash Brothers. And that's how I kind of like push myself out of my comfort zone. So people
Okay.
started getting to know me. Of course, so that carried over to basically I said back to the main topic at hand, how I became more of a leadership role. That I said, hey, I've been traveling for a while. Let's start going to this places that regularly had tournaments on the weekends we were free. And Gwinnett Brawl was one of the places that we decided to go to because they're like, oh yeah, that's where some strong players like Poke Chop and the Tekken House crew and then the Street Fighter players, they all go out there. So let's start attending there. So
You kind of walked into a question I was gonna ask. So like through
mhm,
this, you were saying you started with Smash, which happens to a lot of people. But
right.
yeah, a majority of Macon right now is Tekken. Like
Mhm.
where did that actually happen for you?
So Tekken 7 pretty much Tekken 7 was the main answer for it because when at the time when Tekken 7 was about to come out, me and Ricardo and a few others were making a joke like, well, that Tekken, because we knew that Tekken was big in Georgia, we didn't know how big, and we knew that a lot of people in the area like Tekken, but and most of the people who play are primarily black, so we just making a joke about, hey, well, when Tekken 7 come out, all black people can come out of nowhere and randomly play it if we put it out reboot. So when the game came out on the release day, we asked the owner and said, "Hey, can you put this on the lawn and we can showcase it on there because Tekken's out. Everyone want to play new Tekken." And we was like, "Yeah." That I would never forget it. As soon we put the game in, we didn't even announce the game was there. We just said, we just like put it on the lawn, and next you know, 12 people came out of nowhere. People came out for work at 8 o'clock at night. One black dude came out in a business suit. He made, man, I just got off work and I'm tired. Oh, sorry, it's Tekken? There's a new Tekken? And he just walked straight to the back. He went past all the arcade cabinets, all the pinball machines, straight to the back where we were, and popped in Tekken, and that was it. And we was laughing because we were like, no, it's a joke, right? He's like, all black people gonna come out of nowhere. But it was more than that. It was everybody came over. So we like, you know what? Let's start a little tournament on our own, just a mini tournament. And the owner like, you know what? That's cool because we got a lot of people coming in and helping their business. So he like, here's some cups, here's some stuff to give away for the mini tournament. We ran the tournament there. People watched and sat there. Even the audiences who wasn't really involved in the game and stuff was
Right.
like, this is great. This is cool. So we pretty much like, well, guess we're gonna have our first tournament, official tournament here soon. And as you know, Tekken was the main game we started with, and every time we ran Tekken tournament, it had been no less than 14 players,
Okay.
and that been the case for pretty much. I said this has been 2 years we've been running tournaments, and then everything. No, of course we have Street Fighter as well, and other games coming up like Mortal Kombat, Samurai Showdown. But then, of course, whenever there's a tournament with Tekken in it, we would have no less than 12 to 14 players every time. And I said, even without the people who come from Atlanta or Alabama or other areas, people from Macon, Warren Robbins, Kathleen, and Byron, they come out of nowhere. Hey, there's a Tekken tournament. All right, I'm here. And half the time we didn't even advertise. We didn't advertise as much. And so we like, yep, that's our baby. That's going to be our quote unquote moneymaker. Yeah.
So, with that being said, that's pretty much Tekken's pretty much going to be the front runner for your second season of like the reboot series, right?
That's correct.
How much
Um,
how much of that can you tell me about? Because I know you still have some things under wraps about it, but like, what's the MO of the series this season?
so right now, we have a new format where we're starting to do like basically main games and side games. So two like main games that we know that will be consistent overall the whole time, and the side games that we're gonna rotate throughout the months. So the main games that of course be is Tekken is number one, and then secondary is basically Street Fighter because that's basically the secondary most supported game consistent.
Right.
And then we have rotated in the rotation for side games with Mortal Kombat and Samurai Showdown. The thing about it with Tekken, as far with the tournament stuff, um, is the fact that a lot of rivalries have started with Tekken, and a lot of upsets, changes in ranks, a lot of storylines have grew because of Tekken.
Whoa, what ranks? Where y'all keep ranks?
So we did have a ranking system initially to test out and see how that runs, and of course with certain so many players. So our top three players or top players was Horror, who's from Warner Robins, Lee Van Dam, and Cyblade, who now is in Decatur, Georgia. Those are the top three at the time, and this is even unranked. We had an idea like as far as like when we do seeding and so forth, who's the best so forth on Smash GG, and those were always the top three. Now you have players at the time. You have Hutch, you have Benjamin LD, you have Hoodlum, you have Chambliss, Camden, aka C-Pain. You have those players as well. And over time, even yet because maybe in absence of like the top players like Travis or Horror at times, there always been a fight for change of ranks of now is so now what Benjamin LD went from top from number 10 to number 5, and you have channels from like number 6, no, number 8 to number 6, like something like that. That's the game that always had a constant changing of ranks of like so forth. Recently, we're seeing where Hutch has been beating Horde in tournaments now. So he started taking off rounds, he started taking off games, and he actually took off a set recently at Hand the King and not Horde into losers, which was a huge thing for Hutch, which we did not see how much of that progress was going to happen over time. So it's a potential thing that if Hutch maintains his how he plays or so forth, or if he manages to consistently go at Horror, it could be that Hutch can probably overtake Horror in the ranks, in our unofficial ranks. But like I said, we'll have a established ranking system once we kind of get everything else set in stone.
All right. So I'm just trying to piece this together in my head because it sounds like you clearly have Tekken squared away. You know what you're doing with that, and you're going with
Correct.
Street Fighter as well for your main games. So you said
Correct.
you were gonna
Mm-hmm.
have MK and Sam Show is your side games. Are you gonna go like back and forth between those two, or are you gonna add some other games? Like,
Yes, we actually have a set schedule, and we planned it accordingly to like new patches of stuff coming out around the times. So for October, we're planning to look at having Soul Calibur and Dragon Ball. Mainly Soul Calibur because it actually falls on the date that we're aiming for, the date of its anniversary release for Soul Calibur 6 on October 19th.
okay,
And Dragon Ball, we may be expecting a new update on the patch or a new character, but we also know that there are still players that are willing to play Dragon Ball still in the area. And the thing is, like, the purpose of to have these rotations of tournaments for the side games, because we know that they may not be consistent supported as much as Street Fighter and Tekken, but it'll be a chance for players to say, hey, oh, it's not. They're gonna have something different this time. They're gonna have something that I might like to play and check it out. And we charge it for a lesser price, where the players will be like, well, I can pay $2, and if we offer something on top of that, like, hey, here's a pot for it. Here's like a certain amount of money that we put into it. It can increase as more players enter, that type of stuff. And then with the sponsors that we have, they'll help it grow. And people are like, well, just pay $2 for a potential chance to win a lot of money. You know what? Yeah. So even people who don't play those games or don't care much about it might give it a shot because of that idea of paying less to get more out of it.
yeah,
So
that's very likely. Because yeah, like you're
so
saying, as soon as you get enough people in there, that covers the cost of like a high-dollar tournament itself.
right. And hopefully, if it gets enough support, then definitely we say if we do another season where we start adding more main games, then we say, hey, yeah, you know what? We can add this one instead of rotation. This now become permanent because we want to make sure that we have enough consistent support for the games, and we do have a certain amount of players to kind of have that criteria, meet that criteria. So we're like looking at, for example, if we get 8 to 10 players on a consistent basis for our game, it could be a potential main game in the long run. So, but let's say we do have more, like empty slots for the November and December tournaments on the side because we do have Under Night and Birth and BB Tag also included in the lineup. But the secondary side games, another side game, it could be open to anything else. So it could be potential a throwback game, another anime, or we bring back Samurai Showdown or bring back MK11 or whatnot, depending on how the other games.
You could play that Power Rangers.
You know what? I would not be surprised if we
Oh no!
decided to throw that in.
Oh no! Don't do that. Gonna make
I know.
Shadow. You gonna make Shadow Ace roll down there?
Hey, I mean, I know we don't have a very few that I know that might want to play it still down here, but yeah, I actually would like to see Shot Ace give us a try. Yeah. Um,
Well, that leads
as
me.
far,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
hmm?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, as far as that, because for attracting other regions, because that's part of the purpose as well, because we know that MG been constantly telling me if you do units or BB tag, we'll roll down there. We'll not come down unless you do BB tag and so forth. So I do talk to and listen to other TOs and other players in other regions. And of course, we did explain to them like, okay, right now we don't have players that play or enough players that play these games consistently. But now with this rotation idea, it gives a potential chance to say, hey, there's a chance for y'all guys to come down, play us, so forth, and then potential chance for, let's say, people here who don't play these games might try it out as well. So hopefully, that's it. We'll see what happens. But we knew that some players that used to play these games, and of course they don't play anymore. But at the same time, we'll see what happens now with new patches, new updates, and hopefully be the right timing. If
That,
not, then no, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say that this leads me to the next thing I wanted to hit because
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about these side games in the sense of giving like other regions, other areas a chance to come down and play you all, right?
Correct.
When we gonna see you back up in Atlanta again? I mean, y'all went to GB last week, but that was the first time in who knows how long.
Yeah, about 5 months. No, 4 months, 4 or 5 months. Yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, with the fact that I can't really make excuses for it, but the fact that I'm trying to talk to other guys who are wanting to come up there, going up there. So I know me being the main one to travel and so forth. I should be coming up there more consistently like I used to. And of course, with things changing, that I'm potentially dating all that stuff. But it's actually starting to get to a point where other players are willing to take some people from here to go up there. So if I can't make it myself, then at least we'll be represented in some way. So I'm gonna talk to people. I said we have some players like Tarkus and a few others who are willing to now start driving players to tournaments outside of our local scene. And mainly, of course, the reason why, one of the biggest reasons at the time that we didn't go to tournaments for a while, because there was some infrastructure and on our end that needed to be worked on, and I want to make sure the foundation here was set and make sure that we had something set in stone. Because it would be nice for us to still keep going to tournaments, regardless. Because we definitely need to do that. We do need to go out more and expand our horizons and learn more, and that could still potentially help us in the long run on our end. But at the same time, I want to make sure that what we learned, at least so far, from our own recent events, is that okay, where are we right now? How can we do what we can do better on our end? What we need to focus on? We don't make sure that we don't try to fall apart on our end, even though we try to go out and support all the other scenes. We gotta look at ourselves for a moment. So it was a moment that we had to do self-evaluation, and now we're kind of like with this new idea of what we're working on now. Like I said, the new tournament format, new changes, some of the roles in the administrative end. We're now, and the fact that we're trying to set solid sponsors. Now we're like, okay, we pretty much getting ourselves together, our ducks in a row. All right, now we start going out and start supporting more scenes out there. And now it's that we're getting more people, and we're working on that. So that way, if in case something happens to me or I can't afford to do stuff like that, if the Cardo can, or if AKA Big Boss, or Hutch can, or Tarkus can, or all the other players, they can travel out and so forth, and we can hold down the fort here and so forth. Like basically working at where we're getting enough people to we can send out, but also at the same time, make sure things down here is working well. Because I'm at the point of becoming more involved with administrative business aspects of things and making sure that we have a good relationship with business here, and then players who want to travel, they can go out and travel and take many newcomers out there. Because actually that kind of happened with Gwinnett Brawl recently. One of the players, I said I couldn't go because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to drive and all that stuff. And one of the players was like, you know what? No, I'll take y'all. I'll take some of the players and we'll go out there. I said, you know what? I appreciate that. Because that's what was something needed. Because usually it was me that drove everyone up there all the time. And it got to the point my car was starting wearing down, and I knew I couldn't afford to drive up there all the time. And it was a risk for me to do it for this Saturday, this couple past Saturday.
All right.
But but in a sense, I was still glad that I went because it was funny how much we were missed, and it did push me to the point where we should be start traveling again. So I can't really make much of an excuse of why we can't just we're not traveling anymore, because I said may have to learn a lot more stuff what's going on outside of Horizon if we want to Horizon, sorry, if we need to do better, if we want to become better on our own on our end. So now like we know about the 4-4 esports because they want us to come out. Because I actually know the guy personally, Greg, who runs the scene there. And
Right.
definitely Access Replay as well. Cause I know we have been to Data's and Access events for a while. Now they got the Monster Slayer series. That's something that I'm actually interested in, and talking to. I said I'm talking to some of the players, see if we can get like another carpool thing going again. So that's even in case if I'm too busy to try to do things down here, I want them at least have some representation up there from Georgia, regardless. And then like don't have to physically be me, but it be some type of representation in Georgia.
Totally understandable. Just trying to see if you can get some of your people out there.
Right.
Well,
And
go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, that's what I said. People are actually starting to offer now I was like, hey, Kirk, if you can't drive, then I'll drive, and I'll take people up here and so forth. So now what I'll make sure I do is start reposting on a weekly basis. Hey, there's a list of tournaments this week. Hey, y'all guys gonna go? Y'all guys gonna go? So forth. So many people do have got their cars back. They got new cars and so forth, which is good. So now they're like, hey, I could drive up there. And I said, hey, look, take Joshua, take this player, I can go. And I said, it was me, Big Boss, Joshua, Tarkus, and Neil that went up there. And of course, I think, yeah. So, and we will drove two separate cars. But I think this weekend, upcoming weekend, I think it's no. Is it Gwinnett doing another one? No. Is it Gwinnett or Data doing another event?
You just missed Data.
Right.
That
Okay.
was
Yeah.
yesterday.
So, gotcha. Yeah. Well, definitely working on trying to get that together. Where for those who definitely want to consistently want to do better and want to travel, definitely make sure we like get a carpool thing set up. And hopefully, but definitely once I get a new car, I'll definitely I will be driving more, and I'll be going up there as much as I want to.
All right. With that, I think I'm gonna wrap this one up and hopefully catch you somewhere in Atlanta in the future. Before we cut this off, got any parting words you have?
Well, as always, shout outs and much love to the Middle Georgia community and even the Smash community. Shout outs to them as well. And definitely appreciate the talk. And hopefully that this from this season is going to be a lot better. Looking forward to seeing some rivalries. Hopefully we're attempting to try to go against Atlanta. I know we're just going against, we bring a knife to a gunfight, or maybe we could do a knife to a gunfight at this point.
Man,
But
I didn't
I
want to
know.
walk on that topic, but who's actually gonna play Sam's show? Who's actually gonna play
I
Sam's
am. So on our end,
show?
guaranteed, it's Joshua, Larry, Ricky, who actually he's from Millersville, because he's been wanting a Sam Show tournament for the longest, and he saw what's going on with the with Paybot and Joshua and the bounty and all that stuff. He's coming down because he still represents Bill Georgia for us. He and let's see, oh, of course me as well. I actually have been laughing now. Since I now have a roommate that has a game, I took some time to sit down and actually thoroughly go more through the game. And I understand a lot more than I thought. Because things like the time I was playing against you, I didn't exactly know what I was doing exactly,
I mean,
but I was trying to
it was
adapt over time.
obvious, yeah.
Right. But I actually sat down and I started going through the tutorial, looking at certain things, and I started understanding a lot more now. Cause like, okay, now I know what I'm doing, and I'm actually and I think looking at getting Neil. So let's see, Joshua, me, Ricky, Larry, Neil. So at least 5. I know that.
Well, the best I got for y'all is good luck, buddy. Good
I
luck.
appreciate that. But I think it'll be fun. Because the thing is with the fact that coach decided to throw the bounty on it. Now that I didn't expect that. I didn't expect it. I was like, okay. Because to me, of course I know I want like to have Paintbot and them to come down and play it, but I wanted to have Sam. Like originally had Samurai Showdown in the roster because I know that's a game that kind of a bit hot on the market for the moment, and I know some people here want to give it a try, whatnot. And that was it. As far as the bounties thing, I didn't expect that to happen until that Friday when the coach was like, "Hey, here's money on his head," because Paintbot been wanting to play Samurai Showdown for the longest, and he wants some competition, and blah blah blah. So I was like, you know what? I'm a kind of hype this up. I know I may be jumping. No, I have to look before I leap. Let me take my own
Yeah.
advice.
Yeah.
I think either way though, because I have to admit, Samurai Showdown is a lot more fun than I thought, as to watch, especially. So I'm actually looking forward to it, and hopefully, as with the game being showcased at Reboot, it actually might attract more people because a lot of people didn't. I know a lot of people don't know much about it, especially in our area, but from what we saw, especially at Gwinnett Brawl, and it was another event when Samurai Showdown was kind of hyped too. But I actually started watching more tournaments, and I actually was like, this is really good because it's so intense. There's something about it I like, and many people enjoyed watching it, even though, it's a game that may not be best for them. So we'll see what happens on 21st.
We shall see. But until then, yeah, it's about
Mm-hmm.
time for us to wrap it up here. So it's gonna
All
be all
right.
for now. Thanks for giving me your time, Sir Retro. But
Thank you, sir.
until next time, everybody gonna have to be easy.